Today, I begin a new life, for I'm the master of my abilities. And today, it's going to be a great, beautiful day.
What's up, y'all? Welcome back to another video. And before we start this video, I want to thank Super Clipper Company for sponsoring today's video. They were nice enough to send me these clippers to test them out, so that's what we're going to be doing today. So like any other haircut, before you start the haircut, make sure you comb the hair out. The reason you want to do that is because it's going to prevent the clippers from pulling or snagging the hair. As you can see, I started my first guideline with the lever closed with no guard. I'm not gonna lie, these clippers really surprised me. When I took them out the box, they were already adjusted. I didn't have to touch the blade or anything. And to me, these clippers are better than Wall, Andis, Stylecraft, and Babyliss put together. The battery life on these things is amazing. You guys can see that the battery is on 100 right now. By the time I got done with this haircut, it was on 79–80%. And that's only because I was working in a small area and I had to record, stop, and all that, so it took me a little longer to do this haircut, but the battery life on these is A1. And also, I love the weight of the clippers. They're not too light, they're not too heavy. Like, it has the perfect balance to it. Like, it just feels good in your hand while cutting the hair. You know, Didi, are we still saying that in 2025? Yeah. So we're on our second guideline, lever open, no guard. And we're prepping to blend that bottom line out in between the lever closed and the lever open. Now I'm going to be switching from halfway to close to fully blend that bottom line out. And notice that I'm using the corner of my blade to do so, because if I use the full blade, I'm going to cut hair off that I don't want to cut off. So always make sure you use the corner of the blade when blending any areas of the hair. And the reason why I used the lever closed, no guard to start my first guideline is because that bottom line is easier to blend out versus using the trimmer. The trimmer can sometimes cause a harsh line and it'll be hard to get that line out. So I started using the lever closed, no guard to start my first guideline out. And then at the end of the fade, that's when I clean the bottom part up with the trimmers, you know, to make it bald. I ain't gonna lie, I wonder why teenagers today don't like bald fades. It's like when their parents bring them into the shop to get a haircut, they be like, yeah, cut it all off, make it low, and make the sides bald. The kids just act like their whole life in it. Like they want to walk around with an eagle's nest on their head with a taper on the lineup. Like, I don't know, it don't make sense to me. Because in my era, in the early 2000s, we had waves and all evens, and those was the go-tos. Like, today, I don't know what they be looking for. Them freeforms. I mean, some of them be looking cool, but when it grows out, it be looking like Dave Chappelle hair on that movie, Nutty Professor. Oh! Man, but I got my number one guard on, lever open, creating another line so I can blend that bottom line out. And this is a really easy haircut to do. If you follow these steps, anybody can do this haircut. I'm just taking my time showing you guys the steps so that way you'll fully understand what I'm doing. But if you study this video or watch it like 2 or 3 times, I promise you can achieve the same haircut and get a nice blend. This next step I'm doing is called debulking. I'm using the 1.5 guard or the 1.5 guard to cut the hair down, getting it nice and even to make sure that I'm able to get a nicer blend once I start to fade into the darker areas. Me personally, I think this is a great haircut or hairstyle for teenage boys. They look a lot more cleaner and more mature having this hairstyle, and I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people out there that can agree with me on that. Going back to the number one guard, we're going to blend out that line between the lever open, no guard, and the lever open with the number one guard on. We're going to close the lever using the corner of the blade to start to blend that bottom line out. Now, it's not going to be fully blended out. It's going to be a faint line there, but don't panic, because that's when we use the 0.5 or the lever open no guard, using lever play to fully blend that line out. This is what I mean by lever play. You're basically using your lever to go from open, halfway, and close to make sure you take out any lines or dark spots that you see, making sure you have a nice blend before you start the lineup process. Trust me, this is what separates you from the other barbers by detailing your cuts, making the client feel like you're giving them the best haircut they ever had. And you see me constantly using the corners of my blade and brushing the hair after every couple of strokes to ensure that I have the desired blend that I'm looking for. So the 1.5 guard is going to be the last or highest guard that I use for this mid-fade haircut. I'm starting out with the lever open to debulk the hair, making it easier to blend that line out. Then I'm going to close it to further blend or lighten that line up, so I can go in with the last guard, which is the number 1 guard, using lever play to fully complete the fade. As you can see, I'm really taking my time with this haircut, making sure I take out any lines or dark spots that I see to make sure that I have a nice blend. I do this with all my haircuts. And like I said before, you want to make sure you're doing this as well so your clients can feel like they got a great haircut, and they'll start to refer people to you. You'll get bigger tips. I started cutting hair in the 8th grade. I've made enough mistakes to know what to do and what not to do, so continue to perfect your craft and create a fading system that works for you and that you're comfortable with, because what works for you may not work for someone else, vice versa, so always keep that in mind. The cleanup. This is pretty much the last part of the blend, going over your work, and again, making sure there's no lines or dark spots. Now it's time for the lineup. I'm knocking the front of the hair down with a smaller guard so the hairs can be laid and flat. That way, it'll be easier to line up and come out crispier. And I forgot to mention, before you start any lineup or haircut, make sure the hair is clean and dry for the best outcome. You can wash the hair before you start the haircut, you can wash the hair after the haircut, or you can just simply use a shampoo foam on the hair or on the hairline. But I recommend you wash the hair after you cut the hair. That way, the hair doesn't have buildup, dandruff, or sweat while trying to blend or fade the hair. I started my lineup in the middle of his forehead, working my way to the right side of his head, going back to the middle, working towards the left side, and doing his vertical bars last. I'll make a separate video going into full depth on how to do a lineup for beginners. What Sir Cruz say? Hold on now. I just want to let it be known that he asked for enhancements. He seen that his hairline was light in certain areas, and he wanted it to look fuller. So all of you enhancement haters in the comments, don't do too much. Cool? Cool. Oh yeah, I ain't gonna lie, this cut nasty. If you like it, be sure to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, and leave a comment down below. Until next time, I'm out. Peace. I lied, I'm back. Battery life on 79% after a couple of hours. So if y'all want these, go cop. Link in the bio.